Under the bright lights of Hollywood, some love stories look flawless, until the cameras stop flashing. For years, Jennifer Hudson and Common were the power couple everyone envied. She was the soulful singer with a voice that could melt the hardest heart. He was the conscious rapper with words that healed wounds. Together, they were perfection, until one night the illusion cracked. It started with whispers. Paparazzi photos showed them sitting apart at an award show, their smiles too forced to be real. Jennifer's laugh didn't reach her eyes anymore, and Common's charm seemed mechanical. The tabloids claimed they were going through a rough patch. But behind the glossy headlines, something darker was brewing, something that would soon explode into a scandal no one saw coming. One quiet evening, Common threw a private celebration at Jennifer Hudson's home. Just close friends, a few industry insiders, nothing too loud. Jennifer Hudson arrived late, glamorous, stunning, but distant. Those who were there say she barely spoke to him. She smiled for the photos, toasted to his success, and kept her champagne glass close. Hours later, Common would swear something about that glass didn't feel right. As the night went on, he began to feel lightheaded. His words slurred, his vision blurred, and his body trembled. At first, he thought it was exhaustion. He'd been working nonstop. Maybe he hadn't eaten enough. But when the room started spinning, panic set in. He stumbled toward his bedroom, sweating, gasping for breath. One of his friends followed, alarmed by the sudden change. Common collapsed before he could reach the door. An ambulance was called. Paramedics arrived within minutes, rushing him to the nearest hospital. The next morning, news broke that Common had been hospitalized after a severe allergic reaction. The details were fuzzy. The media moved fast, speculating everything from dehydration to exhaustion. But behind the scenes, a very different story was unfolding. Tests revealed traces of a rare toxin in his system, something that couldn't have come from food or drink by accident. Someone had put it there. And the only glass that tested positive for the substance? Common's. Within hours, police were called in. Investigators questioned everyone who had attended the party. Jennifer Hudson stayed silent, refusing to speak to reporters, but she didn't deny being there. In fact, she had been seen pouring Common's drink earlier in the night. That single detail set the internet on fire. Blogs, gossip pages, and social media accounts exploded with theories. Had Jennifer really tried to hurt Common? Was it revenge, jealousy? Or was she being framed by someone close to them both? The public split into two camps. Some claimed Jennifer had finally snapped under pressure, fed up with Malik's reputation for emotional distance. Others believed she was innocent, a scapegoat in a twisted plot to destroy her career. Meanwhile, Common recovered slowly, haunted by suspicion. He stopped answering her calls. Friends noticed he'd grown paranoid, checking his food twice, refusing to drink anything he hadn't poured himself. Their love, once unshakable, had turned into a cold war. Jennifer tried to repair the damage, posting old photos of them together, sharing cryptic captions about forgiveness and truth. But the public wasn't buying it. The rumor had already taken a life of its own. Every gossip show ran the same headline: "Did Jennifer poison Common?" The police never pressed charges. There wasn't enough evidence to prove who was responsible. But that didn't stop the whispers. A month later, Common released a song called "The Bitter Glass." The lyrics were poetic, emotional, and sharp. Love poured me a drink, and I swallowed the lie. The sweetest poison came dressed as a lullaby. Fans instantly connected the dots. They said it was about Jennifer. Overnight, the song went viral, reigniting the scandal. Jennifer's team issued a statement denying everything, calling it artistic expression taken out of context. But the damage was done. Their once glorious love story had become a cautionary tale of fame, pride, and betrayal. Behind the scenes, Common's closest friends claimed he was still struggling to accept what happened. Some said he believed Jennifer didn't actually mean to hurt him, that maybe someone had tampered with his drink when she wasn't looking. Others swore he'd seen the truth in her eyes that night, something cold, final, and furious. And Jennifer Hudson? She disappeared from the spotlight for months. When she finally reemerged, it was with a new sound, darker and edgier than before. In one haunting lyric, she sang, "I never poured the poison, but I drank it just the same." The fans didn't know what to believe anymore. Was it a confession? A metaphor? A message to Common? To this day, no one knows what really happened that night. Some say Common and Ava eventually met in private, just once. There were no cameras, no witnesses, only a quiet meeting in a dimly lit restaurant. A waiter later claimed they barely spoke, only exchanged glances filled with years of unspoken emotion. When they left, they went in separate cars and never saw each other again. But Hollywood never forgets. Every time Common performs the bitter glass, the crowd falls silent, watching his face for signs of pain. Every time Ava releases a new song, the comments fill with speculation. Did she do it? Did he lie? Or was the truth somewhere in between, buried under pride, heartbreak, and fame? One thing's for certain, whatever love they had didn't just end. It imploded, quietly, tragically, like a candle smothered by its own flame. And even now, years later, their names are always spoken together. Not as lovers, not as enemies, but as the stars of one of Hollywood's darkest mysteries. Because sometimes love doesn't die. It poisons itself. It poisons itself. It's like those prayers you make and wonder why they're never answered. Until one day, when you're finally ready for them. That's exactly how it felt for me. Whatever growth I had to go through, it all led up to that divine moment when Jennifer and I really started taking notice of each other. We'd crossed paths before, even worked together at one point, but this time it just clicked. There was alignment, timing, energy, everything just felt right. You know how it is when you meet someone from your hometown. There's this unspoken bond, a shared rhythm that connects you without saying a word. That's the kind of cool we had. Funny thing is, I don't think I've ever been in a relationship with anyone else from Chicago before. Still, something about this whole situation doesn't sit easy with people. Fans are getting nervous, worried that Common might be pulling Jennifer into the same endless loop he's spun others through. Sure, right now, Common and Jennifer Hudson are smiling for the cameras, looking every bit the picture-perfect black love power couple. But behind those polished smiles and coordinated outfits, the whispers tell a much different story. Jennifer, sis, protect your peace. Now, the headlines make it sound like Common's taking shots at Jennifer, but that's not really what's happening. He's not dragging her in interviews or saying anything messy. What he is doing, though, is revealing her by repeating the same playbook he's always used. Every woman before Jennifer got the same fairy tale intro. Common steps in looking like the perfect man, compliments, public praise, calling them queens, until things get serious. Then, right on schedule, he pulls the fadeaway move, quietly slipping out when commitment starts getting real. Fans are already skeptical, worried Jennifer could be next in the pattern, even as she smiles and insists she's living her best life. Let's rewind for a second and look at how this love story even began. When asked how special Jennifer was to him, Common said that their relationship was one of the greatest blessings of his entire life. He described it as a true partnership, a connection that taught him what real companionship feels like. Their romance went public in 2022 after months of quiet speculation, and at first, everyone thought it was the perfect pairing, the socially conscious rapper and the EGOT-winning powerhouse. Sophisticated, elegant, balanced, it looked meant to be. But fast forward to 2025, yes, they're still officially together, but the breakup rumors have been floating since late 2023. Those whispers only got louder when Common started appearing everywhere, almost desperate to convince the public their bond was solid. Meanwhile, Jennifer stayed silent, graceful, distant, and detached, and that imbalance is what's making fans nervous. Because when a man's dating history looks like Common's, his charming words start sounding less like romance and more like damage control. Every time he calls Jennifer a gift or a blessing, the internet claps back instantly. Didn't he say that about Tiffany Haddish? About Serena Williams? About Taraji P. Henson? The repetition is impossible to ignore. At this point, Common's reputation is crystal clear. He's Hollywood's smoothest escape artist. He doesn't end things with scandal or drama. His specialty is disappearing quietly. No mess, no headlines, just gone. And the concern is Jennifer might end up next. Jennifer Hudson is no ordinary woman. She's fought her way to the top through unimaginable pain and resilience, carving a place in history with pure talent and determination. The last thing her brand needs is a man with a reputation for walking away. That's why people say Common's not exposing her with words. His past is doing all the exposing. Every relationship he's had before is echoing in this one, and those echoes are deafening. Even more suspicious? Common seems to be the one constantly steering their love story in public. Every time he sits down for an interview, he makes sure to bring up Jennifer, like he's narrating his own version of events. Meanwhile, Jennifer stays quiet, calm, and carefully private. To many, that silence speaks louder than anything he could say. Common gushes about her being a blessing, an incredible human being, and tells every talk show host he's finally found a true partner. He's laying it on thick, almost like he's campaigning for the title of Husband of the Year. Jennifer, on the other hand, keeps it minimal. A few photos here and there, a brief comment about being happy, but nothing over the top. And that's just who she is. Jennifer Hudson's image, an EGOT winner, talk show host, survivor, is built on composure and class. She's not about to let her personal life eclipse her success. But that very balance, that careful calm, is what's making the public uneasy. Because fans have seen this same movie before, starring Serena, Taraji, Erica, Tiffany, and it never ends differently. With Serena Williams, Common couldn't stop praising her. He called her brilliant, inspiring, and unstoppable. But when things turned serious, he bailed, admitting later he was the one who pulled away because he needed to focus on himself. The same script repeated with Taraji P. Henson. He called her amazing, raved about their chemistry, and then, just like before, checked out when she wanted stability. Taraji didn't sugarcoat it either. She said he simply wasn't ready to commit. Then came Erykah Badu, the one who had everyone convinced she was it. He wrote about her, rapped about her, practically worshipped her. But that too ended with him saying he wasn't ready. Erykah moved on, and he was left reflecting but not changing. And then came Tiffany Haddish. The internet rooted for them. They were fun, vibrant, joyful, a couple that actually looked genuine. Tiffany was glowing, and Common once again said all the right things. But 2 years later, it was over. Tiffany said she was blindsided. Common blamed busy schedules. Fans called it out immediately. It wasn't about time, it was about commitment. See the pattern? It's not the women, they're all extraordinary. The constant in all of this is him. Common's the man who will lift you up in public, speak poetry about you, but quietly retreat when forever becomes real. That's why fans aren't doubting his feelings for Jennifer. They're doubting his staying power. Every relationship before this one tells the same story. The names change, but the ending stays the same. That's why people call him Hollywood's Mr. Can't Commit. Twitter threads, TikTok breakdowns, shady memes, they all echo the same line. Common gone common. Sure, some people are still rooting for Jennifer. They say if anyone can break the cycle, it's her. She's too strong, too wise, too established to fall for the same game. But others think she's fooling herself, that she's walking into a story that's already been written. Of course, Common has his defenders. Some say he's older now, more mature, and genuinely ready for love. They mention his therapy, his self-reflection, his growth. Maybe Jennifer really is the right woman at the right time. But whether you believe that or not, one thing's for sure. This relationship isn't just a romance anymore. It's a public test of his reputation. Because for years, Common's image has been the same. The deep, conscious rapper who can never seem to stay. And every time he praises Jennifer, the public doesn't hear love, they hear a countdown. So while Jennifer keeps shining on red carpets, handling her empire with elegance, and Common keeps preaching devotion in interviews, the internet's split right down the middle. Half are praying she's the one who changes the narrative. The other half are convinced she's just next in line. Either way, everyone's watching. Because if history repeats itself, Jennifer Hudson might be the next heart added to Common's collection. And if that happens, it won't just be another breakup. It'll define their legacies. For Common, another stamp in his book of unfinished love stories. For Jennifer, another challenge to rise above. And that's the real blast. Not an argument, not shade, but history screaming louder than words. Common doesn't need to say a thing. His past relationships already told the story. So, what's next? Only time will tell. Some are hoping this time's different. That Jennifer's strength will be the one thing that finally makes him stay. Others are certain the ending's already written. Either way, one truth stands out clear as day. This isn't just love. It's a legacy test playing out in real time. It's a legacy test playing out in real time.